All right, there will be a say the uncle conscious or pempendos ya baby bree or the may agree mo. Now, me just do be an who ye the uncle conas do be a yama shishing in Saka. Yes, Pakaman. Yama shishing in Saka, and so yeah, we are the when you swim your duty there, Uncle Pon boy, maybe a year drew no, and sa another botaya, it's seeing you order no. Yɛtumi achieve dame botae no. Alright, wɔfrɛ me Solomon na mewɔ gye bebree dɛ maasa na mabaka wo nsa bio. Yɛn adesua a yɛresua dɛ sɛ onyimpa wu a ɛhefa na ɔkɔ no. Sɛ mekyerɛ Nyame ne ba, I mean sons of resurrection in Christ. Where do they go when they die? Ɔno yɛ adze a yɛgu do a yɛrehwɛ. Na for some time now no, yɛakɔ bebree na yɛhu bebree na last week no ɛna yɛrehwɛ the going back the correlation between the tabernacle or the new temple and the trumpet sound and the sounding of the trumpet, because the tabernacle is where we want to go when we die. But Bible not showing or making some essentials be already determined as to whether we are there or we are now hoping to get there. Yɛhwɛ ɔno last week yɛhwɛ baby kakra na ne nyinara yi dɛ wɔ Revelation chapter number 10 verse 17 no yɛhwɛ adze bi ɛwɔ hɔ. Revelation chapter number 10 verse 7 ɛwɔ no ɔsi dɛ at the sounding of the prior to the sounding of the last trumpet, what we call the eschatological trumpet, the mystery of God will all be finished. So what that means is that John again ties the consummation of the mystery of God to the sounding of the last trumpet. But in Revelation chapter number 11, verse 15 to 18, access into the most holy place or into the heavenly tabernacle is also in association with the sounding of the last trumpet. So we know that not there. It means that the sounding of the last trumpet, and another what by now ought to do is sana. Impe butuma akɔ heaven, another butuma akɔ konkrom bi hɔ. Akyire so Nyankopɔn ne nkɔmhyɛ hinara so ɔbɛbam ɛwɔ dame abere no. Nti sɛ yɛhwɛ Luke chapter number 20, Luke chapter number chapter 21 verse 20 to 22. So ano so hu dɛ Jesus ka dɛ sɛ wohu dɛ Jerusalem nambɔɛ no soldiers fo no atwa Jerusalem ho ahyia a wohu dɛ ne bɔe waabɛn. Therefore ahona wɔwɔ kuro no mu no, they should flee. And those who are at the countryside, and they shouldn't return to Jerusalem. And now, because these are the days of vengeance. That is also a quote for Deuteronomy 32, by the way, for which all things which are written may be fulfilled. And say, bra, as I watch you in a rubber bemuno, near Abra say Jerusalem. Now, say the sounding of the last trumpets and also about occasion the consummation of all Bible prophecies and also another the sounding of the last trumpet honestly bra Yankopɔn ne kɔmhyɛ hinara ɔbɛbam dza no also yet as bra Yankopɔn ne kɔmhyɛ hinara bɛbam ya bra ɔbɛbubu Jerusalem. The destruction of Jerusalem will mark the consummation of all Bible prophecy, because in each case it all ties to the timing of the sounding of the last trumpet. And see ma yɛkyerɛ mu wɔ yin na ma yɛka yɛ dɛ anya Jesus nkote na ɔka another John nkote na ɔka damase, but ahụ ebien in both Jesus Christ and John they ahụ ya wɔ koti damakasa ne fi Daniel chapter number 9 verse 24. In Daniel chapter number 9 verse 24 there were 6 blessings in all, and so yɛbɔ hwɛ hɔ so that the New Testament is just not a mere addendum of the Old Testament, but it points to the fulfillment of the Old Testament. The Old Testament is a prophecy or nkomhye. In the New Testament, nkomhye nimbe another the fulfillment of all prophecies. And so here Daniel chapter number 9 now, verse 24 now, the 6 blessings now. Oh yeah, papa. So I will encourage you to read the entire chapter. Even when you read it to the end, it even ties the consummation of the six blessings, to the time of the destruction of Jerusalem. It is there. So just read the entire chapter and you come to this realization that Ebra the six blessings Amabakani Obabum will be the time say Jerusalem. Anyway. Now, so in Daniel chapter number 9 and verse 24, also there 70 weeks are determined for your people. Excuse me. Also, 70 weeks are determined for your people and also for your holy city. Now, in there, I think Numbers chapter 1, verse 11, and Numbers chapter 11, verse 1. You there, Daniel no call for the holy city, only the old covenant city of Jerusalem. So there's a determination. So that time, that means six blessings say Ebekani. Ebra ni hina ababam no, or Ebra Yankupon city. Another Ikro Kron no, and 70 weeks, Obabum. I mean, until so I can Daniel, no 70 weeks now. When they bra 70 weeks in your Obabum, no be complete will be the time when the holy people and the holy city is destroyed. Go and take biscuits. Go and take biscuits. Go to Hannah and take biscuits. So what I want to say is that the 70 weeks is in connection with the time of the destruction of God's people or Daniel's people, as well as the holy city of Jerusalem. All right, so it means that there means six blessings are back in Canaan. What is that? Go and collect biscuit. Go to mom. Mom is calling you. Go and take biscuit from mom. Okay, go and give it to her. Go and give it to mom. Take the pen and go and give it to her. Go and give it to her. Go and give it to her. So I go and give it to mom. No, don't write in this. Take this book. Go and write on this. Go and write on this. So that time, take this. So that time, when these six blessings that I am about to read will come to, it will come to their fulfillment, will be the time what say Jerusalem. Or say Jerusalem and apostate Israel, no. I mean Daniel's people at the time. Okay. So it means that the 70 weeks, cannot go beyond go to mom. That means that the 70 weeks, cannot go beyond the first century city of Jerusalem and also that of Daniel's people. So also the 70 weeks are determined for your people and also for your holy city. 1, to finish the transgression. 2, to make an end of sins. To make reconciliation for iniquities. Now, with this reconciliation, it is a bit different from the reconciliation that we read in the New Testament. For instance, in Romans chapter 11, verse 15, okay, where Paul Kade, honor Israel for when asobrachinti, if Israel when asobrachin ye in kabum dema, iwiasi hinara da, and honestly, Yankopon accept him back, also resurrection from dead. Okay, so it means that God made Israel's mind dull so that they cannot see and stuff like that. For this reason, Christ was put to death, and by his wound or by his blood, we are saved. And through his blood, the whole world was reconciled together to God. And that reconciliation, this also to make reconciliation for iniquity. Iniquity no. So what I'm saying is that this reconciliation is different from that of Romans chapter 11, verse 15. Okay, but this reconciliation is blotting out sin, another blotting out of sin. Okay, it will be the time when sin is removed. And I hear there, what separated God from man was sin. Starting in the Garden of Eden. And Adam waya born, Yankopon twin fi Adam ho. Okay, so that Adam too nkwa Yankopon ho biom. Now it means that ajobutum weyi ajobutum wasan wa kan yimpa na Yankopon abom biem no. Onye bonfefi. So where you bonifiwa. That will be the time impa na Yankopɔn butu waka bom bim because Yankopɔn na wɔ kronkron no tum fa nhwɛ bɔn. God eyes are too pure to look on sin. Habakkuk chapter 1 verse 13. And again, when you made bono so and okata and it sin smoothed or smoother God's face from us. And the removal of sin will mean that now God can look at us in righteousness. Okay, so in Isaiah chapter 59, we also have it there. So this reconciliation or yeah, removal of sin. Ewa ono onye ada Christ bebe ye Christ obey impanit akọ impanit biem obowi na odin mo judge call konkom be ho the kapata hian bonds mind. So after the way we then he will now return from the most holy place to invite us into the most holy place. Okay, that is the reconciliation so that wo yi boni fi wa odin mo jani yi boni fi chi wa kan pa na akopọ na abom biem wa hin adze ko dem na ote wo garden no mu. So that is be the time of reconciliation. It just there to bring in everlasting righteousness. Now we in there righteousness no another thing on sampano do gospel no na noraba. The mom Moses number ni bia because Galatians chapter 3 verse 21 also that say what them brebi maya what them brebi madan konfa sin ye onfa nkwajembra nka moti bia tin ye so bi fimbre no mu aba na ona madam bra no ye weak na we wantuma wa mad biare wie mu di no enter we if you what the for what here and what by in Hebrew chapter number 8 also that said that no or Moses number na ade no say na nka kawo bi an yi wa nka wan hwehwe fofo ne chiri kwan until in Hebrew chapter 7 verse 18 19 no also there embrano we wanye bi wantuma manya menzi mu na mmom afi wo de foforo aba ono na ye na ma ono do ye de ku agya na nkyɛn ono ya pam foforo medzi no na Roman chapter number 1 verse 16 17 so yehu there 10 ye no so onam ya gospel no do na ba na mmom yambra no de bia nti Paul ka kyerɛ wɔ Galatians chapter 5 verse 5 there Galatians chapter 5 verse 5 and so but you already righteousness was running its course in fulfillment of Daniel chapter 9 verse 27. Okay, and Paul John Peter so or tie the time of the new heaven and the earth into the time of the time of the the righteousness. Okay, so all of them drew that righteousness from Daniel chapter 9 verse 24. Okay, but again also there to seal up visions and prophecy. Until that time, we will seal up visions and prophecies. Yankopon ne visions and an enquamsha no ebra we be see only na bu wie mu di no obe complete no will be the time when Jerusalem, the city of Jerusalem, is destroyed, as well as the apostate Israel. And we saw this occurring in AD 70. So it means at that time when God's prophecies and vision will cease to function will be the time when Jerusalem is destroyed, because that is the time when all things written will be fulfilled. Until all the commission will be fulfilled in connection with the fall of Jerusalem. So only nature no Yankopon on reveal BBRBM, no prophecy, no visions. And even in Zechariah chapter number 13, verse 1 to 5, and also may yet say that in that same judgment, God sees the prophetic office will fail in connection with the fall of Jerusalem. And see, only nature obi bana obi claim that a prophet, another obi claim that or Yankopon revealed bibi the chirana, that you should know that person is not being truthful, because God gave us the time frame within which vision and prophecies will come to an end. Now, what that also means is that in connection with Revelation chapter number 10, verse 7, so in there, that time the sounding of the trumpet, which will occasion the consummation of all God's prophecies, will also be the time when the city of Jerusalem and the people are destroyed in AD 70. At least judging from what Daniel also said. Now, there was one particular prophet. Now, as I said, and Komshafono, a New Testament writers, what's that some of what can be arano, another one in some of what choy be arano, another one in those the chin some yarano, or Yama Moses and a prophet in Wakadobaba. The New Testament writers stated that their eschatology is nothing but what the prophet and Moses said will come. Okay, in Acts chapter 26, verse 20-22. And also, you can also read Acts chapter 24, verse 13 to 15, talking about the resurrection, which is a quote from Daniel chapter 12 and also Ezekiel 37. So all of them were import from the Old Testament. So Yante apam dada on asa, it will be hard for us to understand the New Testament. And again, so Isaiah also, spoke about the time of the sounding of the last trumpet. It's actually Isaiah chapter number 27. But I will encourage you there. Ever can Isaiah chapter 24 to 27, what we usually call the little apocalypse. So understanding the apocalypse, will help you to, understand when that was going to unfold, or that was going to, come to an end or be fulfilled. But for the sake of this discussion, yeah, limit to Isaiah 27. But it also talks about that day with a severe sword, great and strong. So that also talks about the time when Satan, Leviathan will be destroyed, who is Satan, will be destroyed, and so on and so forth. But in verse 9, Jereba no, or can't say me also therefore by this come asama Isaiah kind also by this therefore by this the iniquity of Jacob will be covered, and this is all the fruit of taking away his sins when he makes all the stones now. So that time there was going to come a time uh, iniquity of Jacob, another Jacob one will be if you that will be the time of salvation. Now Paul Bokoti dame taxi Romans chapter 11, verse 25, 26, and 27. But Paul, can also the Messiah will come out of Zion. And so at that time, when, iniquity of Jacob will be removed, he tied it to the time when the Lord has returned. So that will be the day of salvation or the time of salvation. The time of salvation is when the Lord comes. Because in Hebrew chapter number 9, verse 28, also for those who are waiting for Christ, he will come a second time apart from sin for salvation. That will be the time when the iniquity of Jacob will be removed. Yes, come. When the iniquity of Jacob will be removed. Okay, so understand this, that there's a correlation between the return of the Lord and the removal of the iniquity of Jacob when he turned them away from their sin. Turning away from their sin is the time of salvation. Because say ewu, but when your sins are forgiven, you are raised from death to life. Okay, so that is the resurrection the Bible talks about. But not only that, but remember that this is in connection with the time of the return of the Lord when he returned out of Zion. That is second coming of Christ, as people will say, or the parousia of Christ. But that time, let's see what the attendant event also, also this is all the fruit of taking away his sins. That is the sins of Jacob. When he makes all the stones of the altar like chalk stones that are beaten to dust, the wooden images, the incense altars shall not stand. This is the destruction of the temple. Okay, so it means that the time of the consummation of the iniquity of salvation of Jacob, that is Israel, will be the time when the temple is destroyed. Okay, so let us understand this. Will be the time when the temple will be destroyed. Now remember what Jesus said in Matthew chapter 24, verse 1 to 3, that not one stone of this temple will be left on one another. And so we saw this occurring in AD 70 when the temple was, destroyed, was pulled down, and there was no place, found for her. Exactly as Daniel has also predicted in Daniel chapter 2, verse 44 and verse 45. Okay, so all of them are quotes from the Old Testament. But about verse 10, so I can't say verse 10 also, yet the fortified city will be desolate, the inhabitation forsaken, left like a wilderness. There the calf will feed, and there it will lie down. Okay, so we know the fortified city is the city of Jerusalem. So that this also ties, this text, is in connection with Daniel chapter 9, verse 24, when it says that 70 weeks are determined for your people and your holy city. So all of them are one and the same. Okay, but this will be the time when the city is made desolate. Okay, and the people are going to be forsaken because they fail to receive the gospel and also to be saved. Okay, and so for that reason, going against the gospel, the Lord is going to forsake them, and they are going to be destroyed. And that is going to be and that they are going to be destroyed. Okay, and remember what Moses said in Deuteronomy 32, that for if they are protector or their maker has not delivered them to us, we could not have defeated them. It is there. You can read it. Okay, so we have to understand that they were forsaken, and so they were left to their own, and they were trounced in that war between Israel and Jerusalem. Okay. Okay, so this is how we have to also understand. Now in verse 11, also when eight boughs are withered, they will be broken off. So this is contrasted with, like, this is Israel, because in Malachi chapter 4 verse 1, Israel is uh, compared with tree, the branches and the roots. Okay, is Malachi chapter 4 verse 1, and in Matthew chapter 15, I believe verse 13 following, Jesus said that any tree that my father has not planted will be uprooted. Okay, so Israel were like a like a strong branches, because they had protection from God. But because they went against it, they were like they were like a withered tree, like a dry tree without without any branch, without any their strength has been taken away, so they can easily be broken. Okay, so to the extent that he said a woman will even come and set it ablaze. Now, when a woman is able to defeat someone, like a man, a strong man, it tells you that how weak that person is. You understand how weak that person is, because their maker and protector has withdrew, or has withdrawn his protection from them. So they've been forsaken, and they were easily to be destroyed. It's also the yet one so I say ewo. Okay, also then the woman will come and set them on fire. For it is a people of no understanding. Therefore, he who made them will have no mercy on them, and he who formed them will show them no favor. So they are going to be shown no favor, because they failed to repent for that 40 years, transition period, between Christ's ascension and that time of the destruction of that, of the temple. They failed to destroy it. I mean, no one year biara. Titus, Roman army led by Titus, or invaded Jerusalem, they were without any protection, and so they died as a result. Now, verse 12 and there, also there, and it shall come to pass in that day. So that is that day when the temple, the eight images, and the altars and everything will be made like chalkboard and dust and so on and so forth. That is to say that a bit of a said temple, no. Also the Lord will stretch from the channel of the river to the brook of Egypt, and you will be gathered one by one, oh you children of Israel. So that is also the time of regathering of Israel. That will also be the time of resurrection of Israel. The 10 northern kingdom, those in diaspora. Okay, that will be the time of their that will be the time when the regathering will be over, when they will be raised, from their grief to life. Now, verse 13 also say, it shall be in that day, so that day of judgment, upon Israel, the great trumpet will be blown. Now, so we see where now here I hear maybe a New Testament writers no for horn trumpet sound and with the fee. And to samba apamda donumu. Now I know some of these things now they be a problem, but they be a problem. Because you'll be sitting in the New Testament and be guessing when the last trumpet will be blown. But samba apamda donumu from where apamfo from writers no for horn some fee now and able where bra what the last trumpets no better than will blow. So the last trumpet is blown in connection with the fall of the temple. But that fall of the temple is also the time of the salvation of Israel. And that time of salvation of Israel is tied to the return of our Messiah. Okay. And say Seba Revelation chapter number 10, no, verse 7. Our kind of last trumpet in the moon, and Uncle commission in baby, it will be the time you will say Jerusalem. Say about Revelation chapter number 15. And we're talking about when man will now have access into the most holy place now, which he tied into the seventh angel now. It will also be the time when Jerusalem is destroyed. Again, you come to First Thessalonians chapter number 4. The coming of the Lord and also the resurrection will also be the time when Jerusalem is destroyed. And I believe First Corinthians chapter 15, okay, the sounding of the last trumpet and so on and so forth, which also will be the time when Jerusalem is destroyed. Because all of them, shows that the background text for New Testament trumpet sound, or Isaiah chapter 27, verse 13, which is completely in connection with the time when Jerusalem is destroyed. And to say, and while you've been walking around thinking that one day there's going to be, a trumpet sound. But the issue is that now I'm kind of revelation, there are 7 angels, each carrying a trumpet. And to see here, which of the trumpet are we? Which number of the angels are we? Are we at angel number 4? And angel number 4, trumpet 4, trumpet number 5, or what, which one are we? And when was the first trumpet blown? When was that? Who had that, trumpet, blown? You understand? So you have to understand. Also, you're saying there, these things, or yeah, whom are done, or then only see. Now, when I could a book of Revelation, a bit about the map, no poor, them seal, na they, Hinarano, a bra, and you may be then OCC, a womb. According to history, all of these things, were indeed they did occurred. That's but yana last of faith, yankopon ebufushu hina obuwie mudi. Ama impo wetu akọ yankopon enyim no. Emma yankopon ne nkomhye hina wa ba ewie no. Only the last and the seventh trumpet. But the seventh trumpet, that Isaiah waka no, there it will be it will take place when one the iniquity of Jacob is covered, and that will be the fruit of taking away his sins when he makes all the stones of the altar of the temple, stones of the altar like chalk stones, and are beaten to dust. Wooden images and incense altars shall not stand. That will be the time of the destruction of that temple. See, let us understand, how the way Anyame Hinaroi and or play around so that we will avoid making some wild guesses. I've been pan on your no car. Yet the best ha, Yame Boa next week another channel. Say Bripper my Benya Ebasana Yabon Quemi Beam, now you want to be bushing out with my Bible channel. So we have to end here, come your way some other time.